especially to really praise God, to open my heart, to uplift others. And that helped fuel my decision to pursue music professionally. Of course, in the academic world, it's a totally different experience. That experience of playing in church really drove me and fueled me as far as like my inspiration and my approach to music. So I did it for many years. I had a band with my husband, and part of my cutting off that chapter of my life was also leaving our bands that we had together. And we had to face some things with that because he had said, well, if the band ever breaks up, our relationship breaks up. So I challenged that one, and we're still together.
Oh, this is getting good. Oh
We're
my
still
God.
together happily. He's still playing, and I encourage his music career. I was just putting together a guest list for one of his shows coming up, and so we still have a great relationship with that. And my chapter has moved on into other areas now.
Wow, Celia, I'm so grateful that you're sharing this piece. That's spicy right there,
It is.
Wow, we could do another podcast just about this and talk about relationships and the choices we gotta do to keep playing music in our lives, right? In another way.
Right.
But I love this. I love this. So, because I believe that any musician, anybody that has this dream and these talents, you're an incredible, talented woman that I admire and respect. That music background, foundations comes to you in business because his harmonies, his structure, his beauty, his expression. And I think you do that pretty well in your business. So let's move, Celia, onto sales and money. So you get out of the band,
Yeah.
I'm still like in awe of that. You get out of the band, you close that chapter of your evolution, let's say like that. You have a faith foundation in singing at the church. I used to be in a chorus, so I get you. I get you with that. And how did you brought the Celia magic into the business world? What happened?
Yes. So what happened was I closed, so I still had the music studio. And so that was my own business. So I started off, basically I had never had like a full-time job. I've never had a full-time job, like working for a corporation or anything like that. Like I've always been independent as an entrepreneur. So I had been doing my own business since 2008 when I finished grad school, and had been learning business foundations. At that time, coaching wasn't a big thing that I'd ever heard of. I probably would have been doing coaching and receiving coaching at that time. So I had to figure out a lot of things on my own and learn the hard way. Every time I would have a challenge come up with a family, or somebody would cancel or not show up, or a payment problem, I would always have to go and find answers on my own. So I naturally had a business acumen about me from the very start. And that I attribute that both to my mother, who was an MBA and was a very, very savvy, amazing businesswoman. So she taught me a lot about communication and documentation and numbers and things like that. And then I had a great grandmother who ran her own businesses until she passed away at age 102. And she always wanted to teach me about her husbands that she had, and cooking and dinners, woman stuff. And I was, let's say this, the stereotypical female role, gender role stuff. But I was always more curious about her business and the stories that she would tell me, and just watching her. So I had a deep business influence from the beginning. And when I made that change in my life, after the health crisis, at the time I wasn't looking for business opportunities. I was actually looking. I wanted to be a healer, and I was like, I was on this amazing healing journey, and I had all these people helping me, and I was doing sound healing and Reiki and acupuncture and chiropractic and all these things to get my health together. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people are helping me so much. And so I started getting into healing work and starting a business as a healer. So my second business was a coach and a sound healer. And I did that. And then I started seeing people asking me for either like relationship help or like business and money help. So then I decided to niche into business, and that morphed into my third business. So that's sort of the evolution of going from music
Wow.
to healing into business.
That's amazing. You're in the right podcast, Spirituality Now. Because, I remember when, seeing our interaction in the group with Mr. Grover, how you were really deep in your sharings with people, even though you like many probably will see you as a business owner. I could feel the healing energy. I could feel the deep work of the deep inner spiritual work that you've done, and the service you've rendered to others. And sound healing right now, I really believe, is going to be one of the main modalities all corporations eventually are going to adopt in a more modern way, right? More modern way, but so you are it's incredible. And so you chose business to deliver this. I keep calling to deliver your magic, like kind of your medicine. And for me, I have a feeling that you bring healing to businesses by helping them be clear in their vision. So what happens? What's the process? Because we're going to talk about is the spiritual power of sales. I'm so glad we named the podcast like this, because you truly bring, I don't know, I still haven't put my finger on it, but you have this incredible energetic transmission that everything seems so clear already. So tell me what happens when do you work for entrepreneurs or corporations? What is it? How does it work? How does one can work with you, or what's the process like?
Yes. So I am working right now. I have a select group of clients that I work with, and at this time, they're all women business owners who have sales teams. So they have stepped into the CEO role of their business. And so now they're growing their team, and sales is an area that they want to scale and grow. And so I do that both in a hands-on way. Well, I will actually do sales calls for them and support them in that way. And then I also will do trainings and train sales teams and help bring on more reps and document their process, their sales process. So essentially, it's taking the brilliance of sales that has already gotten the company to a certain point. So I do not work with people who are just starting from scratch, have never had a business, no experience. So there's a wealth of
Perfect.
experience that they have, and then usually it's all in their brains. So they have it's like all the things that they do in their brains, and so we have to pull that out. And so that's actually one of my gifts, is just pulling out the language and the nuance and those gems that then a salesperson then can get on a sales call or interact with their customers and still be mirroring the energy and the expression of the CEO. And we see that a lot in where people will develop their brand voice, and they'll have their brand voice and their brand language and their keywords and things like that. And so this is an extension of that, where you can take not only the sales team, but you can actually have the whole team run on the vibe of the CEO. So it is very high level energetics for sure, for what I do. And I also can just pull out like really special nuanced things to help build job descriptions and things like that for reps that they want to hire. So I've been able to really, really refine and put together a system for doing this. And systems are one of my superpowers.
Oh my gosh, that's my anti superpower. I have that's why I have like a team for systems, because me and systems are like what? But but when you are sharing this, Celia, number one for me, I use everything like a metaphor of spirituality, which is everything really, but kind of you pull out the music, the partiture, the exquisite expression of how people need to offer, share, connect, create rapport, right? And be able to connect with their customers, be able to connect their mission, vision, purpose into the world, be able to sell their products with the language, with the demeanor, with everything that is right, that will take them into a harmonic result, correct?
Correct.
Wow. So when you, for example, when you are with someone that you are helping, like type of transformations have you seen when people work with you? Not only of the results, and obviously you have a very incredible, impressive track of the amount of sales people do, like millions, right, of dollars we're talking. But what other transformations have you seen that actually tells you, Celia, I got to stay on track. This is the mission that I'm called to serve humanity with right now?
So the results that I've seen, that's a really deep question outside of the financial numerical. I would say definitely that next level CEO self. So that would be seeing, so I have a great example. So I told a client I wanted to help her create her $100 million company, and she's at seven figures. I want you to help you to create your $100 million company. And I just said it one day, and so it came up a few months later. She had brought it up again and again and again. And she was aligning with that vision of the $100 million company, and has made decisions for her own investments, for projects we're working on inside of her company. Because to get a company to that point where it is truly scalable and you're doing multi-millions, you have to have the processes and the team and everything in place. So that's one of the biggest transformations. I think it was like planting a seed of an idea, and then it just turning into a flowering intention inside of her own heart.
Wow, well, you are so beautiful expressing with your words. But, this is the power of faith. This is the seed, the mustard seed, that many scriptures from different traditions speak of, and for you, when you speak about $100 million, I love that I just said that. Let me repeat it. $100 million. I always think, when people say, my gosh, Yvonne, I want a Ferrari, or I want this big house, and they see that it's too big, or they have a concept in their minds that 100 million is not possible. Obviously, they have to start with making a result or one. But I always say to people, the same energy that you spend for something $1 is the same energy that will be a million or 10 millions, or in your case, 100 million. So I love that you have the processes, the systems, and also the faith and the ability to guide your clients into scaling and into going to their next level. Because really, really, a lot of us entrepreneurs or business owners stop ourselves from growing with our own beliefs. So in a way, you are also helping people transform their beliefs as they work with you, correct?
Correct. And I've definitely at a shift. I've just reached a pivotal moment in my life and my career, because it's like sales process, Celia, that version, that aspect, or what I would call like that facet of me, she exists to create process, to documentation. It's like a very important side of myself that I have developed. And I think that bringing this up helps me to bring back to that tie of our topic of like the spiritual power of sales and selling, or something along those lines. So that side of me, to get to that point of where I am, has had to go through deep healing to be able to sell at that level. And I think that this could be like a big gift and a big piece of wisdom for anybody that's listening that may be feeling like blocked around their sales. So with selling, it's the first thing is being able to have relationships with others, being able to talk to people. And so anytime anybody's like really reluctant around prospecting or reaching out or inviting people, or just all of the structural things of sales, there's usually something going on with relationship with self and relationship with others. So that's the first thing I just wanted to bring up, is like something I had to heal, to be able to have volumes of conversations,
Yes.
meet lots of people, talk to people, interact with people, and show up in full, I'm trying to think of a word for it, but just show up in full presence of being there for that person, to listen to them, to hear them, to support them. And, of course you have the strategy behind the scene, but it's more about showing up and being present for that other person than it is like pushing something onto them or peddling a product. So I wanted to, bring that point up because I think the healing is there.
Celia, this is so important.